Germany at Bulgaria na may 4 na puntos po tayo. Ha? Tuloy-tuloy po ang ating balitaan na mamaya pag-uusapan din natin yung mga kaganapan na yan. Pero siyempre, magsisimula po tayo sa pamamagitan lagi ng ating paboritong Fast Take. Ito po yung ating portion kung saan ating pong tinatampok ang mga paborito ninyong mga sports journalists, sports reporters, and sports media. Ngayong umaga pong ito, bago yan, bago ko introduce ang ating mga kasama, ibibigay ko muna yung ating pulso ng bayan. Ha? Yung pong ating pulso ng bayan ngayon, dahil nga sa nangyari sa NBA, katatapos lamang yan, ang ating pong pupulsuhan, at yan mga NBA, napapanood natin, salamat sa Signal TV, napapanood na po natin sa One Sports, sa NBA TV Philippines, and of course sa TV5. So kami po yung nagpapasalamat sa Signal TV. So ang ating pupulsuhan ngayon ay sino ba talaga ang dapat natanghalin bilang MVP dun po sa bubble, yung kanang tinatawag na NBA Bubble MVP. Bakit bubble? Ito po yung konseptong ginawa ng NBA doon sa mga ating mga kabarikan dyan, yung mga kausap natin dyan sa lansangan. Ng bubble po, ang ibig po sabihin niya na yung lobo, sila po ay pinotektahan ng NBA sa isang lugar na wala pong makakapasok. Walang makakapasok sa loob ng lobo o ng bubble. Kaya po, yan ay pinotektahan ng NBA. Kaya tinatawag nilang NBA bubble. Doon po ginaganap sa Walt Disney World sa Orlando, Florida. So again, ang tatanungin natin, sino ba dapat na maging NBA Bubble MVP? Maraming kandidato dyan. Si TJ Warren ng Indiana, napakaganda ng pinakita para itulak ang Indiana sa playoffs. Of course, alam natin si Devin Booker, perfect ang Phoenix Suns, 8-0, pero hindi sila nakapasok sa play-in dahil nga kinulang sa record. And of course, si Damian Lillard. Naku, talaga namang parang sinapian. Ika nga ni Miko Halili, sinapian daw dahil pambihira ang ginawa. Isipon nyo, gumawa ng 51, 61, tapos kahapon 42 para po ipasok ang Portland sa top 8 ng NBA playoffs. Sino po ang inyong pipiliin? Pupulsuhan natin yan. Mag-text lamang sa 0949-691-4956 o di kaya sa aming Facebook page, Power and Play with Com Noli Yala at sa Radyo 5 92.3 News FM. Alright, eto na ang fast take natin at ipapasok na natin ang ating mga bisita. Walang iba kung hindi ang ating mga batikang sports journalist mula sa spin.ph, si Jerry Ramos, and of course ang ating kaibigan from the Manila Bulletin, si Waylon Galvez. Good morning, Jerry. Mukhang wala pa si Waylon, ano?
Good morning, Kong.
Good morning.
Natutulog
nice to see you. Natutulog po ba si Waylon? Unang-una, kakamustahin kita. Kamusta ang Chase Down? Alam niyo po si Jerry is one of the hosts ng isa nating kasamang programa dito po sa 1PH, yung Chase Down. Kamusta ang Chase Down, Jerry?
Okay naman, Kong. Doing well. And hopefully, mas mapantayan namin yung show mo na Power and Play na talaga namang ang daming nakikinig at sumusubaybay.
Mamaya, meron kayong show, no? Every afternoon yan, Alam ko rin, no? Pag Sabado, no? 2:30 ba,
Let's
Jerry,
go.
ang show?
2 o'clock to 4 p.m.
2 o'clock to 4 p.m. At sino mamaya ang inyong magiging guest, Jerry?
Si Roger Kasuga, yung surfer natin na nag-gold sa Southeast Asian Games, and I think si Coach Eric Altamirano yata.
Alright.
I'm not sure na gano'n na siya nag-gold.
Alam natin si Roger ay nakatanggap ng parang award, no? Dahil doon sa kanyang ginawa nung Southeast Asian Games, and talaga namang malaking bahagi ng ating karangalan yan yung nagawa ni Roger Kasugay. Alright, well, before tayo mag-fast take, Jerry,
sige.
Aking tatanungin ng iyong opinion. Dahil kadalasan kayo nagre-report ng facts, lagi ko nga sinasabi, ang sports media ang nasa sa likod ng mga kwento. kung wala yung media, wala po tayong mababasa o maririnig tungkol sa mga nangyayari sa mundo ng palakasan. Pero bago yan, Jerry, ano bang balita sa PBA? Kamusta ang restart? Meron na bang balita? Dahil ang huli kong nabasa, mukhang pinaplano na nila yung muling pagbabalik. What is the latest sa PBA, Jerry?
Yes, si Commissioner Willie Marshall is hoping na magre-revert back ang Metro Manila to General Enhanced Community Quarantine by August 18. So, para ma-process na agad, ma-proseso na yung pagbabalik nga ng PBA. And one of their move is to schedule na yung swab testing ng mga players. I think August 20 and 21 sa Makati Medical Center yung ni-reserve nilang date for that testing po.
Alright mga kaibigan, pasensya na kayo. Ganyan talaga ang problema ng live broadcast na mayroong technique ika nga based on technology. Alam ko naman, nagbayad naman ako ng aking internet. Kaya medyo pasensya na kayo ha. Pero anyway, balik na tayo at I think kasama pa rin natin. Sana si Jerry, hindi tayo iniwan. Jerry,
Dito pa rin.
sa ating, sa ating internet, no, Jerry, sa ating broadcast.
Oo, realidad na ng buhay yata yan ngayon, Kong.
O yun, kasama na natin mga kaibigan, ating kaibigan. Kasi hinintay ko lang talaga yan. Walang iba kung hindi ating kaibigan mula sa Manila Bulletin. Host din po ng Chase Down, si Waylon Galvez. Good morning, Waylon!
Good morning, Commissioner Noli. Kamusta po?
Ito, medyo talagang excited na makausap ka. At kanina nagpupuntaan na kami ni Jerry.
Oo nga po.
Natanong ko rin si Jerry kanina, ano bang bali-balita sa PBA? Balikan ko muna si Jerry. Jerry, kasi naputol ka. Ano bang latest
Yes,
na nabalitaan mo?
Yun nga, gaya ng nasabi ko kanina, Commissioner Willie Marshall is hoping na ma-revert back tayo under General Enhanced Community Quarantine, no? Para nga makapagsimula na ng workouts yung mga teams. And as part of that, nag-schedule na sila ng swab testing on August 20 and 21 dyan sa Makati Medical Center for the players.
Oh, okay. So mukhang tuloy Alright mga kaibigan, isa na namang Galvez. Again, pasensya tayo, humihingi tayo ng paumanhin sa lahat po ng mga nakikinig sa atin. Again, this is mga problema po ng ating koneksyon. And again, we'd like to apologize for the inconvenience. Jerry, Waylon, are you still with us?
Of course, Kom. Walang
Okay,
iwanan,
ito na.
siyempre.
Sige, tuloy na natin ito. Talagang ito na. Kumbaga, take 2 o take 3 na pala to. Take 3. Okay. Simulan natin sa fast take. Alam
Naku.
ang issue na ipapakita ko sa inyo. Alright mga kaibigan, nagbabalik po ang Power and Play. Mga doktor humingi daw ng timeout sa pandemya. Itong Power and Play humingi rin ng timeout. Yung ating pong internet connection ay patuloy na medyo pumapalpak ngayong umagang pong ito. Kaya again, humihingi tayo ng paumanhin sa lahat po ng ating mga listeners and viewers. Nasa Power and Play pa rin po tayo. Kasama natin pa rin ang ating mga sports media na mga kaibigan, Jerry Ramos and Waylon Galvez. Ewan ko kung sino. Jerry, Waylon. Mukhang ang kombinasyon natin, meron isa sa atin may balat. Hindi. Okay. Sige, tuloy na natin para talagang ito na talaga. Ito yung fast take kung saan tatanungin ko kayo ng give us your opinion. Alright. Ang una nating issue. Alam naman natin ang nangyayari sa NBA kaya naging very successful ang NBA. Nagsanib ang NBA at ang NBA Players Association para maayos ang kanilang NBA bubble na tinatawag. Ngayon, ang tanong, panahon na ba para ibalik naman ng PBA ang PBA Players Association? I'll start with you, Jerry. You have 1 minute. Go!
Ako, agree ako dyan, Com, no? Pero ang kailangan dyan, meron tong teeth, merong ipin. Kumbaga sa millennials, kailangan may angas eh. Dahil yan ang naging success nung NBPA. Meron silang say, they have a stand on any issues, especially regarding mga plight ng co-players nila. And that proved to be the reason behind the success of the NBA bubble. Nakipag-cooperate yung mga players under NBPA President Chris Paul. And sana ganyan din ang makita natin sa PBA Players Union. Otherwise, kung ibabalik lang yan for the sake na bumalik, pero wala namang angas, wala namang say sa mga issues, I think wala ring mangyayari dyan. Parang magiging palamuti lang yan, kumbaga ko. Pero ako, agree ako dyan.
Alright mga kaibigan, nagbabalik po. Nagbabalik na naman tayo for our nth time dito po. And I'm already using a redundancy. Redundancy na to. Iba ng camera and I'm using a different access para talagang maayos na to. Pasensya na ulit, Guelon at Jerry. So I'll go back.
Nako, ikaw pa kung...
Fantastic. Pasensya na, kailangan nating i-replay ito. Okay. Ang ating tanong, Jerry, panahon PBA Players Association. Go!
Yes, agree ako dyan, Kong. Pero provided dapat merong teeth, merong ipin. Kumbaga sa lingwahe ng millennials ngayon, kailangan may angas. Nakita natin yan. Isa sa mga naging factors ng NBPA, why naging successful yung bubble. Dahil yung union ng players ay nakipag-cooperate. Meron silang cooperation with the NBA hierarchy. Meron silang stand on certain issues, especially issues regarding players. And yun ang maganda sa kanila. Sana, if ever, na maitayo uli yung PBA Players Union, maging ganyan ang attitude ng mga players. May mga say sila sa mga issues regarding their plight. Otherwise, kung magiging palamuti lang yan, wala ring mangyayari dyan. Pero agree ako dyan, Kong, provided nga merong angas yung PBA Players Union.
Well, alam naman natin, Jerry, na nung panahon na nandiyan ang PBA Players Association, kahit papano, nakapagbigay ng advice yan sa maraming player, no? Pero again, bago na ang panahon, marami ng mga spoken ng mga players. Kaya ang tanong, Waylon, panahon na ba para ibalik ang PBA Players Association? Waylon, you have 1 minute. Go!
Kong, I have to agree with Jerry doon sa sinabi niya regarding the Players Union. Alam naman natin na maganda kung active lang ang Players Union ng PBA, maganda at maraming na itutulong to sa players. Nandyan yung pagbibigay ng tuition fee sa mga anak ng mga dating player, di ba? Ang ano lang, ang kagandahan lang siguro ngayon, maski wala yung Players Union, hindi sila active for now, merong communication between the commissioner's office and the players. Kung matatandaan natin, Commissioner, kailan lang bago umpisahan itong talks na ibabalik ang PBA, yung training ng teams, nakipag-usap si Willie Marshall, ang ating commissioner, with the players, yung meeting niya with the teams. Meeting niya with the teams. So, naging magandang way para magkaroon ng possibility or daan para maibalik yung training natin sa PBA na inaantay natin ngayon.
Alright, sakto. Saktong-sakto mga sinabi mo, Waylon. Ako, sangayon ako dyan. I've been a big proponent ng pagbabalik ng PBA Players Association. Hindi sa lahat ng bagay. I think there are certain areas na dapat manatili sa poder ng PBA. Pero may mga bagay na sa tingin ko panahon na para may boses ang mga players sa kanilang sariling liga. Alright, ang ating susunod na issue, Waylon and Jerry. Ang tanong, sinong PBA player sa tingin ninyo ang puputol sa MVP streak ni Junmar Fajardo? Sisimulan ko sa iyo, Waylon. You have 1 minute. Go!
Ako, Commissioner, tingin ko hindi player. Injury. Kasi kita niyo naman, wala si Junmar. Imagine kung nag-start ng PBA ngayon. Kung merong PBA. Walang Junmar Fajardo for a season kasi because of a leg injury. Pero kung tatanungin mo ako, kung player naman, I think Jason Castro had his shot. In the 6 MVPs of Junmar, 4 doon kasama si Jason sa Mythical 5. So, 4 out of 6, hindi na masama. Kaso nasa na si Jason ngayon, medyo at the twilight na rin of his career Medyo may edad na rin si Jason. But now, kung titignan natin ng mga batang players, tingin ko, ang isang may magandang pag-asa si Christian Stan Hardinger ng Northport. Kung titignan mo, galing siya sa San Miguel, and then nung nalipat siya sa Northport, nag-ano pa rin siya, nag-improve yung plays niya, and then he was able to join the Mythical team, and yung points, rebounds, assist, nandun kay Christian Stan Hardinger lahat
Alright. Well, Christian Stan Hardinger, isa sa mga alam kong malayo o mararating sa ating liga, and I'm talagang pabura ko dyan sa sinabi mo, Waylon. Alright, Jer, ang tanong ulit. sino kaya sa mga PBA players ngayon sa tingin mo ang puputol sa streak ng MVP awards ni Junmar Fajardo? Jerry, you have 1 minute. Go!
Tatlong naiisip ko ngayon kung tama si Waylon, Jason Castro, Christian Standhardinger, and Jacket Aguilar. But again, to win an MVP award, equated dapat yan sa teams mo nagpapanalo rin. Kailangan nanalo ka ng maraming ng wins, no? Nagpo-post ka ng wins in the scoreboard and at the same time nananalo ng championship. Kasi kung makikita natin yung mga history ng mga past MVP awardees, ano ba yung naging factor, ano yung dominant factor dyan? Nagcha-champion yung mga teams nila. And hopefully, among those three, mag-champion yung team para magkaroon ng chance against Junmar Fajardo. Meron akong nakikita down the road na pwedeng maputol yan kay Soto, pero alam natin, mag-NBA yan. And mas gusto ko lang makita siyang maglaro sa NBA rather than prove me right about my prediction.
Ang ganda nun, Jerry. Kay Soto, yan talaga namang yan ang aabangan at sana nga one day makita natin tumutong sa NBA yan. Ako'y dadagdag ko lang sa listahan ninyo si Stanley Pringle. Tingin ko may chance kahit pa pa. Hindi lang dahil magaling si Stanley, kung hindi dahil ang Hinebra laging nagpapapanalo. So, alam mo naman sa statistical points at saka sa boto ng mga media at saka ng players, malaking bagay yung nananalo yung iyong koponan. Alright, ang pangatlo nating issue this morning sa ating fasting. Ito, maganda to. Kasi kayo ang laging nasa sa likod ng balita. Kayo ang laging kausap ng mga sports personalities at ng mga PBA personalities. So, ang tanong ko sa inyo, sino ang inyong PBA all-interview first five? Yung pinaka...
Ano yan? Players lang ba?
At kahit na sino, player, coach, kahit na may-ari ng team, sino ang PBA all-interview first five ninyo? I will begin with you, Jerry. Go!
Ako unang-una, Robert Jaworski. Kasi pag si Robert Jaworski, nung time na naglalaro siya, konting buka lang ng bibig niya, konting salita lang yan. Quotable quotes na. Ang isang memorable quote niya, kung ayaw mong masaktan, maglaro ka na lang ng chess. And then you have Jojo Lastimosa, na alam natin, very articulate, very vocal, very frank. Minsan to the point na may nasasaktan siyang damdamin, but still, kasama ko si Jojo Lastimosa dyan. Of course, si Coach Cheng Giao, alam natin yung lengguwahe ni Coach Cheng Giao. Ganun din, vocal, very frank. May sinabi siya minsan kay Paul Lee, ang lambot-lambot mo, para kang marshmallow. And then you have Ron Jacobs. Sabi niya dati, live by the sword, die by the sword. Dahil nag-live sila and die with Nelson Asaitono. And finally, Arwin Santos. Masyadong malalim, masyadong matalinhaga.
Yun, ang galing naman nun. Kompleto yun ha, pamula sa coach hanggang sa mga player, kompletong-kompleto. Excellent. Alright, Waylon, ikaw, sino ang iyong PBA all-interview first five? You have 1 minute. Go!
Ako, yung mga inabutan ko siguro, no? Yung na-cover ko mismo. Unahin ko na yung coach, si Coach Cheng Giao. Tama si Jerry dyan. Every buka ng bibig ni Coach Cheng Giao, talagang very articulate, very interesting pag ini-interview yan. No? Second, sa players naman, I have to include si Paul Lee and L.A. Tenorio as my guards. Kasi pagka talaga dinescribe nila yung panalo or talo ng teams nila, marami kang mapupulot dun sa dalawang guardia na yun. Sa sentro ko, siguro I have to include si Bo Belga. Si Bo Belga, ano rin yan parang straight to the point. May masaktan siya or minsan biro. Marami ka din mapupulot na quotable quotes kay Bo Belga. And for my forward, si Mark Pingris. And si former player, Ranidel de Ocampo. Alam naman natin yan, parehong ano yan kumbaga matalinhaga din. Parang sabi mo nga ni Jerry, Arwin Santos. Yun ang aking mga first five.
Alright. Alam mo, very interesting ang sinabi mo tungkol kay Bo Belga. Dahil na-interview ko din dito si Bo Belga at talaga namang kung tumira, kung bumato ng mga sagot, parang Lasal Green Archer, diretsong-diretso.
Tama ko.
He does not mince words, ika nga. Alright, guys,
Mhm.
maraming salamat sa inyong pagtsatsaga ngayong first part ng ating show. Imbitahin nyo ulit yung mga kaibigan natin para manood ng Chase Down. Waylon, go ahead.
Yes, this afternoon, 2 p.m., manood po kayo ng The Chase Down. Very interesting ang mga guests namin. Abangan nyo kami, si Jerry, si Abak, si Risa, and si Zaldi. Maraming salamat, Commissioner.
Maraming salamat. Waylon, Jerry, last words para sa Chase Down.
Yes, we're inviting the viewing public na manood ng Chase Down mamaya, 2 to 4 p.m. sa 1PH Signal TV. And it's a pleasure, Com, guesting again here on Power Play.
Always my pleasure. Maraming salamat mga kaibigan. Ang ating mga kaibigan mula sa sports media, Jerry Ramos ng Spin.ph at si Waylon Galvez ng Manila Bulletin. Of course, Chase Down mamayang hapon. Thank you so much. Yan po ang ating mga kaibigan sa Fast Take na talaga namang ang gaganda ng kanilang mga binitawang mga sagot. Alright, at this point, mukhang ready na tayo kagad kasi medyo naantala tayo kanina. We had our problems, our technical problems. Pero mukhang ngayon tuloy-tuloy na tayo. Hopefully, hindi na tayo mabitin ng ating komunidad, ang ating komunikasyon rather. Alright, kasama po natin ngayon ang dating coach, of course, PBA champion coach at batikang collegiate coach. Pero ngayon siya po ang commissioner ng Chooks to Go Pilipinas 3x3 Basketball League na siya rin nagpapasimuno ng ating koponan patungo sa Olympic qualifying tournament. Walang iba kundi si Coach E, Coach Eric Altamirano. Good morning, Coach!
Good morning, Com. Kamusta ka?
Good to see you, Coach! Nako,
Ikaw din, Com.
At least maganda yung gupit mo pa rin. Ako, kita mo, humahaba na yung buhok mo. Alam mo, lately you have been, obviously, yung ginagawa ninyo sa 3x3 has been in the news. And again, I would like to congratulate you. Very progressive, very proactive ang thinking ng Chooks to Go. And of course, one of those yung naisip nyo na turning pro para sa Chooks to Go Pilipinas 3x3. Coach E, ano ba ang implications niya? Bakit nyo naisip na to turn pro?
Well, Com, alam mo naman last year, nagsimula na tayo. We started the league last year. And aside from starting the league, sumali din tayo sa mga international competitions. No? We competed sa World Tour, mga Masters, Challengers. And ang na-notice ko kasi, most of the teams na sumasali doon, lahat sila mayroon silang mga professional leagues. So, we thought of sabi ko, siguro yun ang isang magandang paraan para mapalakas natin ang 3x3 sa Pilipinas. And one good way there is yun nga, to have a pro league.
Anong implications ito, Coach, is liga mismo? Ang ibig bang sabihin yan, you will have a set of teams na magkakaroon kayo din ng drafting?
Sa ngayon, Com, wala pa. Hindi pa namin iniisip ang pagkakaroon ng drafting. No? Pero ang idea is maging inclusive. No? Kasi alam mo naman, bago ang sport ng 3x3 sa Pilipinas. So we want everybody to experience playing 3x3. So in fact, through the help of Chairman Baha Mitra ng Games and Amusement Board, na-allow niya kami na magkaroon ng part of isang provision ng resolution na mag-allow ng amateur players na makapaglaro dito sa 3x3 Pro League.
Anong ibig sabihin nun, Coach? Pwede pa rin matago nila yung kanilang, o ma-maintain nila yung kanilang amateur status?
Yes. So parang ang mangyayari, they will be given a special guest license, which means hindi sila kailangan na kumuha ng pro license. So parang guest lang sila sa liga.
Alright. And yung iba yung player na talagang professional, they will be exclusive to Chooks to Go Pilipinas 3x3 and they will have contracts sa kanilang paglalaro?
Yes, kung yung mga talagang decided na magpo-pro sila, then they will have to get professional license.
Okay. Very interesting because, of course, I cannot help but say na ngayon, may plano din ang PBA to put up their own 3x3 tournament, 3x3 league. What do you see dito, Coach E? Meron ba itong conflict or do you think that this is good for the program ng 3x3 sa Pilipinas?
Well, tulad ng sinabi ko kanina, nasa stage pa tayo na we are really promoting the sport. No? Bago siya, and it's a welcome development for 3x3 na magkaroon ng other groups na mag-promote nitong liga na to. So the more leagues that will sprout will be good for the league, good for 3x3.
All right. Well, let's go to the 3x3 league now dahil of course ang malaking balita is that ang 3x3 and Chooks to Go Pilipinas 3x3 ay magkakaroon din ng sarili nilang bubble concept, no? And I think you were looking at the venue in somewhere in Calamba. So ang tanong ko, Coach is, can you describe to us ano ang mga protocols na gagawin ninyo? And of course, how many players, how many people are going to be involved or will be living inside the bubble?
Yeah, of course, ang number one process, one of the primary process is yung testing. Kailangan talaga all the people that will go inside the bubble will have to go through a stringent process of testing, no, sa COVID testing. So, meron siyang PCR testing, which is swabbing, at magkakaroon pa kami ng antigen testing the day that we are going to go inside the bubble. And meron pa kaming isang testing pagdating sa loob, pag in between the two legs that we're going to play, meron pa silang testing. So, ang reason doon is siyempre gusto natin magkaroon ng double protection sa mga players, especially when they go back to their families after the bubble.
So, more or less, gaano katagal ang magiging itong konsepto ninyo ng bubble? How long will the players have to stay inside that venue? And of course, away from their families, kumbaga.
Well, compared sa NBA, ito it's a semi-bubble type, no? So, there's a series of bubble that we're going to do. So, parang every time we go inside the bubble, we are holding two legs. Alam mo naman, di ba? Before we used to do one leg per weekend, di ba? So, ngayon, gagawin namin is you go inside the bubble on a Thursday, hold the first leg on a Friday, and then break kami ng Saturday. That's the testing day namin. And then hold another leg Sunday, and then labas kami ng bubble. And then we will have a gap of 2 weeks, and then papasok uli kami ng bubble and do the same thing. So we will have 3 times that we will go inside the bubble per conference to finish our 6 legs.
Okay. But that's very interesting dahil alam naman natin kung gaano talaga yung unang-una yung dex testing, pangalawa yung controls, no, na wala makapasok doon. And of course, yung protocol kung meron mang mag-positive. Now, in the NBA, mas madali ang coach dahil maraming player ang isang basketball team. Ang problema natin sa 3x3, alam natin aapat lang ang iyong lineup, no, na naglalaro. So how are you going to manage this na assuming merong isa diyan na magkaroon ng problema, are you going to add more players sa lineup nila?
That's a good question, Com. No? So we are asking all the teams to have 6 players in the roster na papasok sa bubble. So in case na Thursday pa lang, when they get tested at merong nag-positive, then they could already get replacement. Meron na kagad sila, no? And then at the same time, the same thing din, kung nasa loob ka ng bubble, all of a sudden, merong na-injure na isang player, meron kang reserve that can play for the next leg. By the way, I forgot to answer you kanina, no? Kung ilan ang papasok sa bubble. So we're looking
Yes.
at around 100 to 150 people, including na
Wow.
yung production team, including the organizers and the players and the teams na papasok.
So, mahigit 100 tao ang papasok diyan sa loob ng bubble. Obviously, lahat 'yan magkakaroon ng patuloy na testing. Obviously, you will also be doing RT-PCR and kompleto ang inyong protocol. But walang fans, Coach E. You will not allow any fans to be watching the games. But ito ba ay ibo-broadcast nyo even via live stream?
Yes, for sure, wala talagang fans kasi yan naman ang guideline na pinesend sa amin ng JAO together with the IATF. In terms of broadcast, sa ngayon definitely we will have it live stream. But there's also a possibility. We're working on partnership with the network. So maybe in a few days, we'll have an announcement for that kung magkakaroon ng broadcast sa TV.
Very interesting dahil marami naman nag-aabang yan. And of course, dahil sa, alam natin na ang 3x3 ang naiiwan na lamang na team event na maaari makapasok ang Pilipinas sa Olimpiada. And talking about the Olympics, Coach, alam natin na move ang OQT, yung Olympic qualifying tournament ninyo. This has been moved for next year. Pero right now, ano ang plano? Nagpa-practice pa rin ba ang iyong team na kasama si Alvin Pasaol at si yung mga PBA players natin are practicing?
Well, sa ngayon, wala pa, no? Wala pa. We haven't started anything yet kasi nga na-delay tayo because of the MECQ. But probably as soon as ma-lift itong MECQ at makabalik tayo sa GCQ, we could already start having our testings and training, no? So I think for now, ang na-allow pa lang sa atin ng IATF and JAO is yung individual practices for both for the teams na sasali sa liga at also for the pool na maglalaro for OQT.
Okay, and with respect to the PBA players, ano ba, alam ko that you have been also in communication with the PBA. What is the position of the PBA sa kanilang pagpapahiram sa mga players na gagamitin ninyo kasama ni Joshua Monson at saka ni Alvin Pasaol?
As far as that is concerned, meron kasing naatasan na committee, no? Merong OQT selection committee headed by Executive Director Sunny Barrios. So sa ngayon hindi pa kami nakakapag-meet regarding that, no? Kasi siyempre, we have to coordinate with the PBA kasi obviously yung mga teams nila Mo and nila CJ magsisimula na rin sila mag-practice, 'di ba? So that's a big challenge for us, but I think hopefully ma-resolve naman yan through the committee at we could find a win-win solution na para makapag-practice din sila sa amin.
Okay. So moving forward, Coach, definitely the selection for future teams ng 3x3 ay gagawin itong committee. This is no longer just a task of one particular group, pero ito ay kumbaga parang IATF interagency na ang dating.
I think so, I think that's the best way para makapag-send tayo ng malakas na team. I mean, the best team possible to represent the country sa Olympics.
All right. Well, we wish you all the best, Coach. Alam natin na mahirap ang gagawin ninyo. The NBA experiment cost $150 million. And I know that hindi rin magiging mura ang gagawin ninyong Chooks to Go mini bubble. Siguro parang bubble wrap ang dating niyan, ano? Pero still, it is a laudable program. Alam natin that you're doing this for the development of the sport dahil ang 3x3 is now back in the mainstream or part of the mainstream. Kaya naman marami na talaga ang naglalaro nito. So, good luck, Coach Chi, and balitaan mo ulit kami sa susunod.
Oo nga, Com. Hope to see you. Hope to have you there also. Na-miss ka na namin, Com.
One of these days, makakasama tayo dyan. Maraming salamat, Coach Chi. Maraming
Yeah,
salamat.
ingat, Com. Ingat. Thank you.
Thank you. Alright, mga kaibigan, yan po ang ating kaibigan, si Coach Eric Altamirano, Commissioner ng Chooks to Go Pilipinas 3x3 League. At alam natin kung ano ang ginagawa nilang paghahanda. Napakahirap po ng kanilang istasyon or estado sapagkat ang daming kailangang ayusin dyan sa bubble concept na yan. Hindi po simple yan na ika nga papasok lamang at i-house at maglalaro. Marami pong pinagdaanan. Ang konseptong yan, pinapattern natin sa NBA. And napag-usapan na natin yan sa mga ilang linggo at pinag-uusapan natin hanggang ngayon kung gaano ka-successful po yung NBA bubble concept na ngayon ay kinokopya na ng napakaraming mga liga. And ako personally, I think the PBA should also take a look at the bubble concept. It can be a couple of bubbles na gagawin nila para lang makapagpatuloy ang liga ng PBA. I think it takes a little bit of innovation and I think it can be done dahil meron naman tayong mga lugar na masasabi nating ligtas para sa ating mga manlalaro at sa ating mga opisyales. By the way, before we bring in our next guest, gusto ko lang po kamustahin lahat ng mga nagtiyaga kahit po nagkaroon tayo ng konting problema sa ating broadcast. Si Maxim Igbas, nanonood po siya mula sa Carmen, Cagayan de Oro City. Wow, magandang umaga po sa inyo. Si M. Tomindo, magandang umaga. Ana Mohe, kamusta kay Enteng? Sana maayos kayo. Oy, si Mike Uy, pare. I hope you're feeling well. And of course, si Ana Barido, ang ating suki from Maquilach. Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat, mga kaibigan, at lahat po ng mga nakikinig sa atin. At this point, ipapasok ko na po ang ating paboritong NBA correspondent. Pinag-uusapan natin ang NBA. Well, tapos na ang playoffs. Ang 8-game seeding ng NBA sa restart. And now we are nearing the playoffs. Isa na lamang laro, maaaring dalawa ang mangyari sa tinatawag na play-in. But right now, kasama natin para himayin pa ang NBA playoffs. Walang iba kundi ang ating NBA beat writer at paborito nating correspondent, si Homer Sison, live from Chicago. Magandang gabi, magandang umaga, Homer. Good to see you.
Good evening, Commissioner. Good evening good morning sa mga listeners natin. And I'm glad that we got past the technical difficulties. So, excited ako, Commissioner. Playoffs on Monday.
Alright, yeah, alam ko. Pero bago natin himayin yung playoffs, we have to comment doon sa success ng bubble ng NBA. Although the games, hindi lahat ng stars nakikita natin naglalaro, but still, the games have been very intense on and off the court dahil maraming nagpapalitan ng Twitter spats sa labas ng court. Nakita rin, of course, natin ang napakagandang setup ng NBA, how they have done this. I'm very impressed, for instance, sa ginawa nilang introduction for the Phoenix Suns using the families. So in other words, lahat pinag-uusapan hindi lamang sa loob ng court kundi sa labas, Homer.
Like you said, $150 million. Money talks. Money has a way. Sabi nga nila daw, money cannot buy happiness, but with money you can choose your own misery. So ito yung NBA, napakagaling ng Commissioner. They test, the test is so diligent, and yung players, in fairness naman, there's so many players, they have followed protocol. Unlike the NFL, na may mga players na hindi not necessarily following the rules.
That's right, no? Well, we've seen a lot of developments coming from the players. The Giannis headbutt, yung awayan ni Butler at saka ni CP3, yung balikan ni Lillard at ni Paul George and ni Pat Bev. Is this part of the show? we're trying to get back. Kunin lang natin yung audio ni parang Homer. Medyo may konti lang. Again, Homer Sison, mga kaibigan, live reporting from Chicago tungkol sa mga kaganapan sa NBA. Right now, ang playoff situation dyan sa NBA ay maglalaban po sa East ang Milwaukee Bucks at saka ang Orlando Magic, ang Toronto Raptors at ang Brooklyn Nets, ang Boston Celtics at ang aking Philadelphia 76ers, at ang Miami Heat at ang Indiana Pacers. Doon naman sa West, magkalaban po ang Clippers at Mavericks, Nuggets at Jazz, Rockets at Thunder, at nag-iintay pa ang top-seeded Lakers kung sino mga kalaban nila between the Portland Trail Blazers at ng Memphis Grizzlies. So talagang maganda itong papasukin nating playoffs. Again, babalik po tayo sa regular format ng NBA. That means it will be a best of 7 series pamula sa first round all the way to the NBA Finals na I think they're hoping na gaganapin po by at the latest September 30. No? So talagang tuloy-tuloy po ang aksyon. And again, tayo po dito sa Pilipinas ay mapalad na meron na po tayong NBA broadcast sa pamamagitan ng Signal TV. And we have with us again Homer on the line. Mukhang inaayos pa. Medyo, ayan, all right, we got Homer. Homer, may audio ka na ba? Mukhang may problema pa yung audio. Yung audio na lang. Let's try to check, Gab, ang audio. In the meantime, mga kaibigan, nakita naman natin ang mga kanina pinag-uusapan natin po yung pagkawala ng San Antonio Spurs. Well, again, hats off to Greg Popovich for a 22-year run ng San Antonio. Minalas na lamang sila dahil layo ng hinabol nila sa kanilang mga dun sa positioning patungo sa play-in. Kaya medyo natapos na po ang 22-year run ng San Antonio Spurs with 5 titles and one of the best records during that span of time, si Greg Popovich. In the meantime, tapos na po ang botohan ng mga awards ng NBA. Pinaglalabanan na po ang NBA MVP na kung saan andun po ang mga pangalang Giannis Antetokounmpo, LeBron James at si James Harden. Yan po ang tatlong naglalaban para sa season MVP award. And that'll be very, very interesting kung ano po ang mangyayari dyan. At of course, yung iba pang mga awards na ating abangan. Let's see, kasama na ulit natin at mukhang nakabalik na si Homer. Homer?
Commissioner, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Commissioner?
Yan, ayos na ayos. Alam mo, mukhang nahawa ka doon sa aking problema ng technical problems kaninang umaga.
It's okay.
Let me go. I was asking you about yung show off the court, no? Yung mga nangyayari. Is this really part of the show? Or things are getting a little bit angsty dahil, alam mo, pagka medyo nasa sa loob ka ng bahay mo for this long, tinatawag nating NBA bubble, kahit papano, it'll get to you, di ba, Homer?
Yes. I mean, ito yung ano ko pa, Commissioner. I mean, family members have no seat in the table when it comes to yung awayan ng dalawang player. Yung kapatid ni Damian Lillard, she shouldn't have involved herself in the confrontation or in the Twitter war. Kasi, like I said, these are big boys. They can handle themselves. May away sila, they have a beef, and it's a spur of the moment thing. That's why nga, Commissioner, 2 days ago, Lillard and Paul George buried the hatchet kasi nagiging masyadong personal and then you get Twitter, they have so many followers, it's embarrassing to both to all the parties involved. So for me, if I have a problem with somebody, I can handle my business. I talk to you. Sasabihin ko, nagalit ako sa'yo. I don't have to have my family members advocate for myself or speak for myself. So I think it's just childish banter, Commissioner. And what's more important is itong mga games.
All right. Before we go to the games and before i-break down natin yung mga laro, Homer, let me just ask you, we've seen a zero positive results sa mga testing of over 300 plus personnel and players in the bubble.
42.
Obviously, lahat ng nagawa nito dahil nagkaroon ng very strong collaboration between the NBA and the NBPA. And kanina pinag-uusapan namin with your co-sports journalists kung panahon na ba para sa PBA na magkaroon na rin ng sarili nilang o yung pagbabalik ng Players Association. What is your take tungkol dyan?
Yes, Commissioner, companies, like I said in my tweet, in my column about Commissioner Marcial, who's a very fine commissioner. He gives so many fines. Ang ano ko, Commissioner, is this, unions are being frowned upon in the United States because unions, maingay, maraming mga demands. But when companies have or show or manifest tyrannical and unfair tendencies, that's where kailangan mo ng union. There is a reason why the NBA has a union for the last 1954, Commissioner. Ang NBA Players Association had been there since 1954. Can you imagine kung walang union ang NBA? There would be no salary cap. There would be no basketball-related income. Wala yun lahat. So, and also, siya nga si sinabi ko, the fight between the PBA, a juridical person, a very rich corporation against a very, in relative terms, a very poor entity in Abueva. It's a very unfair fight. Para yung David and Goliath, tapos David has no slingshot. So, ang kailangan dito is a union that would represent or advocate the interests of the players. Kasi unfair, Commissioner, it's 14 months. Kung by most accounts, I've said this so many times, I'm a very conscientious fact finder. So before I write a story, I'm not there in the Philippines. So I talk to all my fellow reporters and say, ano ba to si Commissioner Marcial? And they tell me, he's a very good guy, a very nice guy. So, ang sabi ko, then why is he, 14 months? It's so unfair. Have you seen his 5 children? Have you seen Abueva? No paycheck. May allowance lang daw. I saw your interview, 17 minutes, 39 seconds last week with Calvin Abueva. So ito yung sabi ko, Commissioner. I mean, ikaw, you're a lawyer, and crime and punishment, hammer and nail analogy. Kung ano yung kasalanan, ito yun ang penalty. But this has gone too far. It's 14 months. It is so unfair. Arwin Santos, I can make the argument. Binanggit ni Mysterious daw tong si Arwin Santos. But the offense that he made, taunting an import with a monkey gesture, is an international incident. It's far greater than the past indiscretions na ginawa ni Abueva. I don't have a horse in the race, Commissioner. I haven't met I haven't met Commissioner Marcial, and I don't intend to meet him. Same thing with Abueva. I haven't met the guy. I don't know him. But as a father, as a guy who, earns a livelihood for your children, nakikita ko, mahirap. I mean, you have 5 children. They shouldn't be collateral damage, Commissioner. So, tama na, sobra na. Wag nang palitan na because he's a good guy. Commissioner Marcial is a good guy.
But, ako, on the association, I really am a strong advocate. I really believe that dapat magkaroon na ng boses ang PBA players. Alam ko na napigil yan dahil dun sa PhilAm and local spat nung araw, but now that everything is good and lahat sila nagkakasundo, I think a stronger voice, not for everything, hindi lahat kagaya ng NBPA, but only on certain matters na pwedeng makonsult ang mga PBA Players Association. I think it will help para lalo pang mapalago ang ating liga. But all right, let me leave it at that dahil nakikinig si Com Willie sa atin alam mo naman kaibigan natin si Com Willie.
He's a good guy.
Let's go to the NBA and the meat of the matter, which is playoffs. All right. When you look at the East, and let's start with that, dahil yan set na ang labanan sa East. What is the series that most excites you and perhaps may go down the wire?
No, nothing in the East, Commissioner. Itong Bucks and Magic reminds me of a song by Neil Sedaka. Anong song yun, Commissioner? Sweet Caroline 4-0 yun. I mean, the Milwaukee Bucks are a very good team. It's very deceptive kasi yung Milwaukee daw 3-4 during the bubble. But Milwaukee didn't have the continuity that is necessary to be a good team. Wala si Eric Bledsoe because of COVID-19 test and Pat Connaughton. And also, Milwaukee had already secured the number 1 seed like third game into the seeding. So hindi talaga nilaro nila yung lahat ng mga players nila. The series that really interests me is Miami and Indiana Pacers kasi because of the element of Jimmy Butler and TJ Warren. But at the end of the day, pag tanungin mo ako, anong nangyari sa series ng Indiana at Miami? And I would say, the Butler did it. Jimmy Butler, Commissioner, averaging 19.9 points, 6.7 rebounds, 6 assists per game, and all around. And at alam mo, itong Miami, Commissioner, they have more shooters than a gun range. Ang galing nila. And then Indiana is very good with TJ Warren, Oladipo, and Michael Brogdon. But I tell you this, they will miss Domantas Sabonis. Domantas Sabonis was a good, in the aspect of rebounding and defense, that's where they will miss him, Commissioner. Kasi itong Indiana Pacers, although they are napakagaling nila, but during the bubble, they were fourth in the NBA in points scored allowed. So when the Miami Heat, with all their shooters, Tyler Hero, Goran Dragic, Duncan Robinson, by the way, one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA at 44.8%. And when they get hot, I don't think Indiana has the answer. So, but this is the interesting series. And also, sorry, Commissioner, I didn't bring flowers today, but I should have brought flowers for your Philadelphia 76ers kasi they have no chance against the Boston Celtics. Itong si Commissioner, Joel Embiid, I think he will average 112 points a game in this series against the Celtics because the Celtics are so small. They have Daniel Theis, 6'8". They have Williams at 6'10", Ines Kanter at 6'10". Nobody can guard him. But ang firepower ng Boston, Kemba Walker, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, all of their starters averaging double figures in points. So the Sixers will make it interesting, but they will not see the light of a Game 7. So 4-2, Boston Celtics ang mananalo dito.
Well, I kahit na ako ay talaga nagdurugo ang aking puso at talagang nagduluksa, ako dapat sumang-ayon sa iyo, Homer. I really think that malaking bagay unang-una ang kawalaan ni Ben Simmons. Plus, of course, the fact that talagang mababaw ang bench ng Sixers. They do not have the versatility and perhaps even the quickness to match up with the Celtics. And I think the Celtics will go far in this Eastern Conference. But I'm looking also at the Raptors next series. Alam ko na malayo ang Toronto. They have played spectacularly. The defense is terrific. But is there? Do you think that the Raptors are a little fragile, Homer? Dahil mukhang isang injury could spell a lot of difference for the Toronto Raptors.
They are fragile, Commissioner, but right now they're healthy. So they're number one in the bubble. They're number one in defensive efficiency, 101.8. The next one is 100.6. So they are really head and shoulders above. Marc Gasol is the key, and he's healthy. Itong si Anunoby and Pascal Siakam, they're very good. They're the number one team also in the NBA in transition. So the bad news, here's the good and bad news for the New Jersey Nets, Brooklyn Nets. The only chance they have to beat the Toronto Raptors, because napakagaling ng interior defense, number one, the only chance they have is three-point shooting. The problem is when it comes to three-point shooting, itong Brooklyn Nets is second to last in three-point percentage. So they have no chance. I think the Raptors Nets 6 games, 4-2. Toronto Raptors will advance to the second round.
Talaga, binigyan mo pa ng dalawang laro ang Brooklyn. That is a credit to Jack Vaughn, for all that he's done for his team.
Because they play so hard, they play, it's yung defense nila is a democracy, Commissioner. They have Chris LeVert. And sometimes it's a blessing. When you don't have your best players, kasi itong Brooklyn Nets, Commissioner, they don't have 4 of their 5 starters. They don't have Kevin Durant, DeAndre Ayton, Kyrie Irving, and Spencer Dinwiddie. And they showed the thing that they showed against Portland last night. They don't have anything to play for. Wala na, kasi secured na nila yung 7th seed. They didn't even have to play their starters, but they played last night and gave the Portland Trail Blazers the game of their lives last night.
Puntik na nga. All right, let's go to that game. Yung incident
Yes.
niya, yung West now. Portland will play Memphis. Obviously, they have the advantage. Yung tinatawag natin sa PBA na twice to beat advantage. And Memphis has lost a big piece in Jaren Jackson. Ano ang prognosis mo, Homer, dyan sa laban na yan?
Oh, Portland. Is Commissioner, let me put it this way. In your program, kung mawala in one segment, kung mawala si Gab Malyari because he might be sick, it's okay. You would survive. But if you also lose Mike Santillan, that's another story. So ito yung nangyari sa Memphis. They already lost Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones was their best backup point guard behind Ja Morant. Tyus Jones was averaging 7.4 and 4.4 assists per game. And then bigla na lang nawala si Jaren Jackson, which is 17.7 points and 6.9 rebounds a game. You cannot fill that hole, Commissioner. And they have no chance. They might have a chance to upset, because with basketball, you get one night where you can hit anything. But to beat the Portland Trail Blazers twice, no way, Commissioner. So Portland will advance against the Portland Trail Blazers. Pero may warning ako sa Portland, Commissioner. Kita ko yung tweet mo kahapon na si Damian Lillard hit from the logo. You know what the Portland Trail Blazers remind me of, Commissioner? Para itong Portland, Commissioner, para itong babae na nakita mo in a darkened bar. You see her designer clothes, you smell her expensive perfume, and you get overwhelmed. But when you see the light of day, nakikita mo, marami palang scars under the cheeks at saka may character lines sa forehead. So ito yung problema ng Portland. Yes, they impress you, but at the same time, they don't play defense, Commissioner. Nabanggit ko na. They played a Brooklyn team that had nothing to play for, did not have 4 of their 5 starters, but they gave 132 points. The same Portland team, Commissioner, that gave 154 points against the Houston Rockets. So you beg to ask the question na kahit natalunin nila ang Memphis, how do they match up against the Lakers? So yun ang problema.
A lot of the Lakers fans believe na nagsabi na si Lillard that he will shock the world, no? So you think that they even have a yeoman's chance here?
Yes, they do. Only because they have 3 bigs, Commissioner. They have Zach Collins, they have Yusuf Nurkic, and they have Hassan Whiteside. So they have 3 guys that could at least derail LeBron and Anthony Davis. The problem is Portland also has its own issues. CJ McCollum is not 100% healthy. He has a fractured bone in his, one of his bones in his back is fractured. Yeah. And then although Gary Trent Jr. has been a revelation, I mean, these are seeding games. These are not the playoffs. So yun ang problema ko. I don't like the Lakers. I've said that many times before. I like LeBron to lose against the Portland Trail Blazers, but I don't analyze games based out of emotion. I analyze games based on facts and statistics. And the statistics tell me the Lakers are a better team, and you have LeBron and Anthony Davis, and somehow they're gonna find a way to beat the Portland Trail Blazers in 6 games.
Alam mo, napakaraming magandang laban sa West, and obviously one of the most intriguing is the Thunder versus the Rockets. Kung saan haharapin muli ni Westbrook, who is injured at the moment, ang kanyang dating kupunan. And of course, a lot of history. Of course, ganun din si James Harden. And OKC has been playing so well lately behind one of the nominees for Coach of the Year. What do you think of that series? How long will that go?
Oh man, I love the Oklahoma City Thunder. Only because itong si Russell Westbrook, Commissioner, same thing na analogy na gagamitin ko with with Memphis losing 2 guys. You lose one, you plug a hole, but when you have 2 holes, it's so hard to plug it. Itong Houston Rockets entering the bubble, they didn't have Eric Gordon, one of the vital piece of their offense. Now you add Russell Westbrook. Kasi sabi ni Adrian Wojnarowski ng ESPN, this injury is so hard for a guy like Russell Westbrook who plays with so much force. Quad injury ito, Commissioner. So, that being said, now if you are Oklahoma City Thunder, you only have one scorer to deal with, James Harden. Austin Rivers has been very good, but he is not Russell Westbrook. So, itong Oklahoma City Thunder, and lest we forget, Chris Paul has had a phenomenal season, Commissioner, averaging 17.6 points, 6.7 assists per game, and 5 rebounds. So I think because of that, mananalo a mild upset, should I say. Assuming, of course, that Westbrook cannot play, I picked the Oklahoma City Thunder to advance to the second round and play the Los Angeles Lakers.
Wow. Bigat nun, ha? Well, we just heard news na Clippers beat the Thunder 107-103 in their game. Now, let's go to the Clippers. They're playing, obviously, they are playing so well, but they're facing a team that is rejuvenated, ika nga, ang Dallas Mavericks with Luka Doncic. Well, how do you see that matchup?
Oh, the Clippers are too deep, Commissioner. It's just like going to a party or going to a house na bisita ka. If you're punta ka sa bahay ng Dallas Mavericks, you see their kitchen, ang daming pagkain sa table. No? May kawali, meron lahat. But then when you open the refrigerator, there's nothing there. So what if maubos ang pagkain before the fourth quarter ends? The depth of the Los Angeles Clippers are just too much for the Dallas Mavericks to overcome. But because of Luka Doncic and Porzingis and Wes Matthews, they will make the series interesting. But at the end of the day, the Los Angeles Clippers are just too good, too experienced, and too deep for the Dallas Mavericks, Commissioner. Sorry sa mga Dallas. Yes.
And finally, that last series, Nuggets versus Jazz, it may be the least exciting dahil sa kanilang style of play, but that should be a very evenly matched as well.
Oh, sorry, Commissioner. I fell asleep. Kasi nga, sabi mo, Utah and Denver. It's a bad series, Commissioner. But I look at this series with biased eyes because of Jordan Clarkson. And I would like to believe that Gobert and Mitchell are very good. All-star yun eh. They're both all-stars. At the end of the day, Jamal Murray and Jokic and the depth and the coaching of the Denver Nuggets. I picked the Denver Nuggets, Commissioner, to advance to the second round and face the number 3 seed in the Western Conference semifinals.
So you only see one particular upset dito, Homer, sa West, and everything will go as seeded, and it will be a very interesting, although very exciting ang matchups dito sa West. I think it will still be up to the seeds to make it happen. Sila pa rin naman nanalo in your prediction.
Yes. Commissioner, stars, this is a star-driven league, and the stars make, ito yung LeBron will shine. Here's the thing. Many people, Commissioner, they've been making a big deal out of LeBron. During the bubble, LeBron is shooting only 48%, which is way less than before the bubble. He's shooting 25% from the field and three-point range. And here's the answer to that. Back it. LeBron James, Commissioner, for the last 17 years while he's in the NBA, yung body clock niya has been used to be working from November to June. It's not used to be playing in August kasi rest mode yung body niya, and then you throw the 4-month pandemic. But as you see, LeBron, like many other superstars, once he rounds into form, mahirap. LeBron, I don't like the guy, but he still has more than enough to carry the Los Angeles Lakers in the Western Conference Finals and lose to my beloved Clippers.
Ikaw talaga. Well, for all the LeBron fans, and I am included in that, I still believe that LeBron has a few more miles in his tank, and I think this is the time that you see LeBron at his peak, and obviously it will be a good chance for him to prove once again yung kanyang legacy dito sa ligang ito. Not for anything, but I think it will be a very interesting match between LeBron and whoever comes out of
the Clippers.
All right, Homer, it's been a fun morning. marami pa tayong pag-usapan as we go along sa playoffs, and we certainly will be talking to you again dahil lalo pang magiging exciting come the second round. Maraming salamat ulit sa iyong panahon, Homer.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I saw your Twitter feed, and I see that you have 35,000 followers, and I immediately cried because I have 88. So, so thank you. It's just, Commissioner, not only does that show the disparity in talent, the disparity in popularity, and the disparity in good looks. So good morning, Commissioner. Mga listeners natin, power and play.
Stay safe. Yan po mga kaibigan, ng ating NBA beat reporter live from Chicago reporting on the NBA, si Homer Sison ng spin.ph. Alright, ang dami natin na pag-usapan tungkol sa NBA. Yung pong nangyari sa ating mga technical issues kanina, medyo mapipilitan tayong i-move back yung interview natin kay Ken Tuffin. Gagawin po natin o ipapalabas po natin yan next week. In the meantime, we'll take a quick break. Magbabalik pa po ang Power and Play hatid sa inyo ng Big Boss Cement at ng Cherry Loom. Nagbabalik po ang Power Play ngayong Sabado ng umaga. Gusto po nating batiin muli si Ronnie Chavez. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. Si Doc Barry Mendoza. Magandang umaga dyan po sa Santa Maria, Bulacan. Kamusta rin po kay Carmelita Guerrero. Magandang umaga sa iyo. Kay paring Roman Santos na nanonood sa atin dyan sa may Parañaque. And of course, si June Posas. Maayong buntag at sa lahat po ng ating mga kababayan sa lalo-lalo na sa Cebu City. Maayong buntag sa inyo lahat. Pati na rin po kay paring Al Noel dyan sa Cagayan de Oro City. At this point, gusto ko lang ulit magpasalamat sa lahat ng mga sponsors natin na patuloy na nagtataguyod sa Power and Play. Big Boss Cement, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay. Nandito na ang Big Boss Cement, di basta matitibag. Approved sa kalikasan at sobrang abot kaya. Maraming salamat po sa kanilang Chief Company Innovator at Presidenting si Engineer Gilbert Cruz. Again, ang Big Boss Cement, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay. Maraming din po salamat sa Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum, ang inyong kaagapay po sa lahat ng inyong proyekto. Cherry Loom ang maaasahan, available at all leading hardware and inyong mga suking tindahan. Cherry Loom mga kaibigan, marami po salamat kay paring Elmer Ngo ng Cherry Loom. Marami din po salamat sa Elms Resto Bar and Kapihan. Ang Elms Resto Bar Group ay nag-o-offer na po ngayon ng party platters, home ng fried itik. May free delivery po sila sa pamamagitan ng pagbabayad through GCash or BDO. Ang kanilang Quezon City numbers ay 0977-157-0499. Yan, makikita nyo sa ating screen. Yung kanila pong mga branches sa Cali Bistro, Commonwealth, ang kanila pong number ay 8240-2032. At sa Makati sa poblasyon po, 8403937. Libre po ang kanilang delivery. Elms Resto Bar, Elms Kapihan and Bar. Marami din po salamat, of course, sa Joyride, ang inyong kasundo sa pagtulong. Wherever you are, whatever you need, we can deliver and we'll do it for as low as 14 pesos. So book na po ng inyong delivery at pabili needs now via Joyride. Siguraduhin lang po na download ang latest Joyride app. Ang Joyride, katulong o kasundo sa pagtulong. Marami din pong salamat sa ating mga kaibigan sa Skin, ang inyo pong face and anti-body or anti-aging body center. Face and Body Anti-Aging Center. Ang Skin po ni Dr. G. Sarmiento at saka ni Doc Ricky Sarmiento ngayon po ay tumatanggap na ng consultations sa pamamagitan ng kanilang mga hotline na ating ipapakita ngayon sa ating screen. Skin, yan po, 0917-890-1640. Yan po ang kanilang numero for your consultations. Pag na-lift na po itong MECQ, tuloy na rin po ang kanilang pagtanggap ng mga kliyente. Again, Skin, your face and body anti-aging center. And finally, gusto po natin magpasalamat sa MP School of Makeup Artistry, ang ating official makeup and hair dito po sa Power and Play. Maraming salamat po sa MP School of Makeup Artistry. Alright, ang dami natin mga kaibigan na patuloy po sumusuporta. Maraming salamat sa lahat na sumusubaybay po sa atin. At this point, ipapasok na natin ang ating huling magiging panauhin, but certainly not the least. Siya po ay isa sa pinakabatikang coaches ng ating liga ng PBA and of course, a very outspoken head coach tungkol sa mga issues sa ating kapaligiran. Walang iba kundi ang head coach ng NLEX Road Warriors, Coach Yeng Giao. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. Good morning. Naririnig ba ako?
Yes, sir.
Ayun. Kala ko naka-mute ako eh. So, good morning. Good morning, Com Nolid. Good morning sa lahat ng mga milyon-milyong mga fans mo.
Yun. Kahit nabawasan dahil
Power and Play.
technical issue kanina. Coach, ano ba pinagkakaabalahan mo ngayong naka-lockdown tayo? Mukhang ang ganda pa rin ng pangangatawan. Tuloy-tuloy bang ensayo?
Oo, kasi napapadami yung kain kaya nangyayari kailangan din mag-workout. So may oras naman, maraming oras. Tapos paglilinis ng bahay, paglalaba, pagpaplansya, tsaka pagba-vacuum, ayun, expert ako diyan. So maraming ginagawa ngayon, marami ring ginagawa.
Tama-tama, maaraw ngayon, pwede tayong magkula. Coach,
Tama.
alam mo, seriously, ito, very busy ka. Alam ko, you're still very busy. Ang dami mong inasikaso. But itong oras na to na nagkaroon ka, ano ang nadulot sa iyo nito, Coach? Na nabigyan ka ng konting oras para sa iyo. What has this done for you?
Alam mo, ang dami ko ring ang dami ko ring natutunan, dahil it gives you time to read, it gives you time to research some subjects where you are interested in. A lot of basketball, pag-uusapan, narinig ko pa yung last few minutes ng interview mo kay Homer, no? Napaka-interesting nung mga sinasabi niya. Alam mo, sabik na sabik tayo sa NBA, kaya yung NBA ngayon talagang sinusubaybayan natin dahil ang tagal na wala, tapos wala namang ibang mapanood except Netflix siguro, no? Then alam mo, isa pang ginagawa ko rin is watching a lot of European basketball, no? Walang tatalo sa entertainment pagdating sa NBA, no? Ibang klase talaga yung entertainment na dinudulot ng talent ng mga tao diyan sa NBA. Pero pagdating sa sistema, no, pagdating sa overall basketball cohesion, knowledge ng European coaches tsaka ng European players, I think doon sa mga doon sa mga gustong mas matuto pang malalim na understanding ng basketball, napakagandang panoorin ng Euro basketball. So, yung Euro League.
Nakakatuwa yan na sabihin mo yan, Coach, dahil alam naman natin na nabanggit mo na rin yan in the past tungkol sa even mga possible consultants natin na pwedeng kunin para sa ating national team. But bago natin pag-usapan yan, alam mo, nabanggit mo rin, Coach, yung sinasabi mong at least itong panahon na to, wala tayong mapanood. At of course, ang PBA ay nagbabalak na magsimula uli, at least kahit na scrimmages or practices man lang. Pero ikaw ba, kahit paano, Coach, kampante ka dito sa sistemang ilalatag ng PBA, yung sinasabi nilang closed circuit system, yung bahay, practice facility at bahay? Dahil nung isang linggo, nakausap natin si Dr. Tony Liachon at sabi nga niya, medyo itong sistemang ito, meron pa rin konting butas dahil hindi naman kompletong-kompleto na ika nga ma-shield mo, mapoprotektahan mo yung mga player dahil kahit papano makikihalupilo sila sa kanilang mga kasama sa bahay na pwede namang meron na kasama ring iba, no? So yan ang mga bagay na sabi niya dapat ingatan. So ikaw ba, Coach, kampante ka dito sa sistema natin para sa PBA, sa pagbabalik ng PBA?
Malaki pa rin ang tiwala ko, no? I have a lot of confidence, no, na lahat naman ng precautions ginagawa natin. Pero iba talaga yung meron kang sarili mong bubble, just like what the NBA is doing. Pero pagdating kasi ron, alam natin, it's a logistical problem, no? Maraming kailangang mangyari, no, in order to do what the NBA is doing. But they've set an example. Sabi ko nga, hindi na natin kailangang i-reinvent yung wheel, no? Hindi na natin kailangang imbentuhin pa kung ano yung magandang sistema. Nakikita naman natin no, na NBA is doing it right. So as much as possible, maidikit natin doon sa ginagawa nilang sistema, then I think that's our best chance. And considering our resources, considering our limitations, yung ginagawa natin ngayon, I think that's the best we can do. Not unless sabihin ng mga board of directors natin o board of governors natin na let's do what the NBA is doing, let's go to one place, tapos isolate natin sarili natin, let's have the exact same bubble as the NBA is having, then of course that would be ideal. Nakikita naman natin, wala pang tinatamaan sa kanila as of now, no? Pero tama rin si Doc Liachon, there are weaknesses doon sa sinasabi nating sistema ngayon, but Comnoli, hindi pwede talaga 100% risk-free. Meron talagang certain percentage na may risk. Ang kailangan lang talaga natin gawin is to practice self-discipline, follow the protocol strictly, and yung behavior natin, we have to change our behavior. I think that's the best way to combat the virus habang wala pa yung vaccine.
Merong isang article na kinote ka, Coach Yeng, na sabi mo, yung protocol ng PBA ayos, maganda, pero kayo sa NLEX, dadagdagan nyo pa at mas lalo pa kayo maghihigpit doon sa inyong protocols, lalong-lalo na sa inyong practice facility. Can you describe to us, Coach Yeng, yung mga karagdagan pang gagawin ng NLEX para siguraduhin ligtas talaga ang inyong mga manlalaro?
Well, as of now, what we're doing is nagmi-meeting kami, no, as much as we can on online, no. Nag-Zoom kami. We even do our practices on Zoom. No, meron kaming mga workouts that we do together on Zoom, and then we constantly remind our players what the protocols are. No, we try to, of course, hindi mo naman mabantayan yan 24 hours. No, but we try to monitor them as much as we can with yung limitations natin. No, actually, meron kaming team doctor. No, meron kaming team doctor. Ang ginagawa ng team doctor namin is every so often, he calls up the players, tinatanong niya kung anong mga activities nila, tinatanong niya kung sino mga kasama nila. Kasi ang ginagawa namin ngayon, we are actually preserving two bubbles, or we will try to preserve two bubbles. The first bubble is your family bubble or yung household bubble mo. No?
Yeah.
Ang sinasabi namin, anybody who's not within your household is an alien, no, na as much as possible wag niyo papapasukin yan sa bubble niyo. Yung family niyo lang at kung sino lang nakatira sa bahay niyo, yan lang. Ingatan niyo lahat yan. Yung meron kayong mga kasambahay, meron kayong driver, even those, no. Pagka kasi yung mga yan umuwi, nagbakasyon, tapos nagbalik sa iyo, nako, delikado na yan. Hindi mo alam kung pagbalik sa iyo kung ano-ano ang dala niyan. So we try to caution them with that. So preserve first your family bubble or your household bubble. After that, pagdating ng PBA practice, magiging dalawang bubble na yan. Now you have to preserve your team bubble. No? So pagka na-preserve mo yun sa bahay mo, tapos na-preserve mo yung team bubble mo, there's a good chance no you can sustain that, no. So dalawang bubble ang pinipreserve mo, pero kung nasa kunyari, nasa Florida ka, kamukha ng ginagawa ng NBA, they're actually preserving just a team bubble. Isang bubble na lang yan. No? So tayo, nagdadalawa tayo ng bubble. And then you do all the necessary protocols to preserve those two bubbles later on. So may mga testing ka na dyan.
Sabi nga ni Fred Uytengsu, Coach Yeng, na kahit paano dapat tularan natin lahat ng magandang nakikita natin dun sa NBA. Of course, that is a very expensive experiment. $150 million ang kanilang ang ginastos yan. So it's not going to be easy kung ating, although alam mo may mga ano rin ako, may mga idea, even a smaller bubble, pwedeng gawin ng PBA as we go along. But anyway, ang next, no? Meron ba kayong mabuting ikita dito para sa team mo? I mean, kahit paano naidulot itong pagiging off ninyo from the games? Has this helped your team at all?
Ang hirap kasi maghanap ng hirap maghanap ng silver lining, although of course there is, no. Number one siguro is yung rest. I think that rest is good, no. It's a prolonged rest, pero the other problem with that is, alam mo, ang hirap to get into game shape, ang hirap to get into 100% conditioning pagka masyadong mahaba yung pahinga, no? So, what the players are trying to do is, as much as possible, even if it's on their own, sa bahay lang nila, nagpapakondisyon sila, no? Marami bumili ng mga equipment, bumili na sila ng mga dumbbell nila, bumili sila ng mga gym equipment nila, bumili na sila ng mga bands nila, no, just so they can use the time, no, kahit na nasa bahay sila, no. So makikita mo, I think the good thing here is makikita mo yung disiplina. Everybody wants to play, and they're showing it by tinitignan ko yung mga players ko, nakikita ko naman sila. Kung meron man tumaba, siguro tumaba lang sila by 3 or 4 pounds. Malaki na yung 5 pounds. No? So if you stop for 5 months and you're only overweight by 4 or 5 pounds, I think that's a very good indication, no, that these guys are taking care of themselves. Kasi mapapakain ka talaga eh. Tsaka kung wala kang ginagawa, talagang tataba ka. But these players, if you're only 4 or 5 pounds overweight at this time, ibig sabihin na ginagawa nila yung dapat nilang gawin. So that's, I think, a good thing that these players are disciplined enough, no, to take care of themselves.
Alam mo, we expect, of course, na when the games resume, hopefully it will resume soon, hanggang walang vaccine, ika nga sabi nga ng PBA, maaaring walang tayong fans. And you've said on one occasion na mawawala yung home court advantage ng Ginebra. Now, among the teams sa tingin mo, Coach, aside from your team na nanonood,
Com, napuputol. Pakiulit.
okay, let me ask you again. Sabi ko nga, nabanggit mo na dahil wala pang fans, masasaktan ng Ginebra dito sa pangyayaring ito. Do you think merong mga kuponan na magbebenepisyo na maglalaro dahil mas magaling sila pag naglalaro closed doors?
Alam mo, lahat kami magbe-benefit kasi wala kaming laban sa fans talaga ng Ginebra, no? Pagka dating ng laro namin against Ginebra, I think great equalizer tawag namin diyan. It's going to be the great equalizer. It's them against the team they're playing against. Ang hirap talaga na kasama ng Ginebra yung mga fans tsaka yung crowd nila, no? So, kung tatanungin mo, may magbe-benefit ba? Yung 11 other teams are going to benefit, no? In that aspect, no. But again,
May coach. Kasi ang NBA papayagan ito sa pagpasok nila ng playoffs, isang kapamilya at isang kaibigan na ipasok sa loob ng kanilang venue. Kung ikaw ang tatanong at kung ikaw ang bibigyan ng 2 ticket, sinong ipapasok mo? Yung na idadalhin mo sa loob ng venue, yung maingay o yung pwede mo lang pagkatiwalaan para makasama mo sa loob ng mga laro?
Sa pamilya ko lang maingay na 'yon tsaka mapagkakatiwalaan ko naman 'yon So I think mag-aano 'yan. I don't know if you can alternate, no? Siguro yung anong 'yon, yung privilege yun kung gagawin man sa PBA. Mahihirapan tayo mamili, no? Mahihirapan tayo mamili. So I think it's going to revolve within your family or yung mga alam nating mga loyalist fans natin, no? Of course, corporate kami. So within our corporate family, marami ring gustong makapanood diyan, have that privilege. So hindi mahirap maghanap kung sino isasama diyan sa 2 ticket na yan kung sakali man magkakatotoo.
Alam mo, may nagsabi rin sa NBA na dahil daw tahimik, wala mga fans, marami daw tatawagang technical ang mga referee sa coaches at saka mga player dahil mas madaling naririnig nila yung reklamo ng coach at saka ng player, pati daw yung mga sinasabi na hindi dapat masabi paminsan-minsan o hindi dapat marinig. Tingin mo ba, coach, ikaw dahil walang ingay, mas marami kang makukuhang mga warning o technical dito sa pagbabalik kung walang fans?
Isa na ako dyan. Palagay ko malaki-laki ipa-fine sa akin ni Commissioner pagka ganyan. Ano? Pero it takes some getting used to. No? After a while, alam mo, nakapaglaro na rin ako ng walang tao sa sa venue, no? Nung FIBA window na nilaro natin dito sa Araneta. Anything you say is amplified talaga. No, na naririnig talaga ng ng lahat ng sasabihin mo. But at the same time, you have to practice self-control. No, ayaw mo naman na ejected ka sa laro at hindi ka na makakatulong sa team mo. So both ways, I think lessons are going to be learned and it's going to be an adjustment period. And may rin actually no. Meron ding good side. There's a good side to it because it's so easy to communicate, no, with your players.
Oh,
hindi ka mukha nung maingay, halos hindi kayo magkarinigan. Minsan akala mo narinig ng player, hindi pala niya narinig. Wala na silang excuse ngayon. Sabihin, coach, hindi ko narinig yung sinabi mo. So ngayon, sigurado maririnig nila.
Alam mo, talking about yung rinigan, you have been one of the most outspoken coaches sa ating liga. And sabi nga kanina nila Waylon at saka ni Jerry, you are one of their favorite all-time interview teams sa PBA, no? But ito ang tanong ko, coach. Ngayon nakikita natin sa NBA na very outspoken ang mga players. Sa tingin mo ba sa PBA kulang pa yung paggamit ng mga players, pati na ng mga coaches, ng kanilang platform para magsalita tungkol sa mga social issues ng ating lipunan?
Palagay ko napakalaki ng potential, no? Ayoko sabihin na kulang pa because I think it's also partly cultural, no, na ang mga players natin, ang mga coaches natin, baka ang feeling nila eto lang kami, dito lang kami sa basketball, no. So but I think they can speak out and use their platform for some other social advocacies or political advocacies, whatever it is, no. Ang importante lang dito, kailangan sa isip mo at sa puso mo, alam mo na tama ka. No? Ang hirap na nag-advocate ka ng nasa mali ka eh. No? So I think what's important here, that is where your passion and your commitment is. Pag passionate ka, pagka committed ka, pagka well-educated ka sa isang bagay, doon mo na nararamdaman na may idadagdag ka doon sa debate on that subject, no. Kaya lang pagka sa feeling mo I'm not well educated enough on this subject, so bakit ako makikialam? O kaya ang feeling mo is tahimik na lang ako kasi magfo-focus na lang ako dito sa basketball. Kaya sinasabi ko na I think there's a lot of potential, no? Kasi sa NBA, maski na sa football, maski na sa baseball, a lot of players and coaches, no, are already doing it. Kasi ano sila siguro culturally, no, yung democracy sa kanila mas napapractice nila yung kanilang mga freedoms, no. Sa atin kasi parang masaya na ako, maganda yung sweldo ko, maganda trabaho ko. Kung meron ng mga nakikita tayo na mga ibang tao diyan not as privileged as us, well, maybe will help in some other way, pero hindi ako makikialam sa mga issues, no. Pero I think it will be good for the PBA, for the country, if players have some advocacies, whether it's political, social, whether it's about environment, climate change, whether it's about cruelty to animals or whatever. I think maganda yon. I think it makes you a better person, a more well-rounded person.
All right. Well, alam mo, Coach Jeng, kaya kita gustong-gusto kausap dahil you are truly outspoken. And sana mas marami pa tayong oras, but certainly we'll get you back. Hopefully,
Sige.
naglalaro na kayo. And again,
Tama.
good luck sa pagpapa-sexy ulit. Napapanood ko yung mga TikTok mo, tanda mo yan.
Isa lang
All the
yun.
best, Coach.
Isa lang yun. Isa lang yun. Nag-birthday si Boss MVP hindi ko matanggihan. Kaya ginawa namin talaga. Pakapal na lang ako pa.
All the best, Coach. All the best. Maraming salamat sa oras mo ngayon.
Thank you, Com.
Thank you. Alright, mga kaibigan, yan po si Coach Ieng Giao ng NLEX Road Warriors, ang ating isa sa mga paborito talaga nating ma-interview. Really outspoken, napakaraming opinion sa mga bagay-bagay. And I'm sure marami pa tayong mapag-uusapan when we get him again. Alright, mga kaibigan, again, kami po nagpapaumanmin sa lahat ng mga nangyaring mga technical issues. We'll try to fix that for next week. But again, thank you for continuing to support Power and Play. Sa ngalan po ng lahat ng bumubuo ng Power and Play, nagpapasalamat po kami sa inyong pagsubaybay ngayong Sabado ng umaga. Tandaan niyo po tuwing Sabado, bawal ang masungit! And of course, sa lahat po ng ating gawain, ad maiorem Dei gloriam, all for the greater glory of God. Happy sports weekend, mga kapatid.